In the small and desolate town of Hollow Creek, life had always been mundane and predictable. However, everything changed one fateful autumn night. Among the town's residents, there was a scientist named Dr. Eliza Bennett. Eliza was known for her eccentric experiments, always conducted under the veil of secrecy in her isolated laboratory. Her latest project was shrouded in even more mystery than usual, and whispers of something unnatural began to circulate. As the mist rolled in that evening, an unsettling silence descended upon Hollow Creek. Sudden power outages and strange noises left the residents on edge. In the pitch-black night, a desperate cry echoed through the streets, sending chills down the spines of those who could hear it. Struggling to make sense of the situation, a small group of survivors gathered in the town's old church. Among them were John, the strong-willed former soldier, Sarah, a resourceful nurse, Mark, a clever mechanic, and Emily, a young high school student who had been separated from her family. Panic quickly set in as more agonizing cries filled the air. Suddenly, the church doors burst open, and in stumbled Tom, a townsperson covered in blood and burns. He gasped, barely able to speak, "Eliza, it's her lab. The experiment, it went wrong." Before they could react, Tom collapsed lifeless. Realizing that the lab was the source of the outbreak, John took charge and led the group through the town. Their journey was haunted by the sounds of the undead, who began to emerge from the eerie fog. Zombie-like creatures, grotesque and relentless, lunged at them from every shadow. As they reached Dr. Bennett's lab, they discovered the extent of her horrific mistake. The experiment, intended to regenerate damaged cells, had unleashed a virus that reanimated the dead. The lab was filled with half-finished experiments and containment breaches, oozing with malignant life. Racing against time, Sarah and Mark tried to salvage any notes or data that might reveal a cure. Meanwhile, John and Emily fought off the attacking hordes, protecting their friends. The tension mounted as their situation grew bleaker and survival seemed less likely. In a tragic twist, Dr. Eliza Bennett herself, now a deranged and zombified version of her former self, appeared. Despite her monstrous state, she retained flashes of her old memories and desperately tried to communicate. It was a heart-wrenching moment, revealing the depth of her unintended atrocities. In a final standoff, John made the difficult decision to destroy the lab and its contents, believing it was the only way to stop the spread. As fire consumed the lab, the survivors made their final stand against the oncoming wave of the undead. The night was long, and losses were inevitable, but some managed to survive and escape the burning town. Hollow Creek was left in ruins, a grim reminder of human folly and the thin line between genius and madness. Those who escaped carried with them the hope of rebuilding and the haunting memory of the undying night that forever changed their lives.